Name that movie. That's High School Musical, right?
Yeah. With
Sharpay.
Ashley Tisdale, yeah, Sharpay.
We're just warming up for another episode of Polite as Fuck.
The dogs are in. Everybody's good. Everybody's here.
We're all accounted for.
We're all accounted for.
We're excited to be here today. We're a little bit delusional, which is great for this episode.
I agree, but happy Wednesday, everybody. I have a thought in my brain.
What is this segment called again? Welcome to
my brain, yeah. Because it's fucking chaos up there. So Erica and I just got done with grocery shopping, and most of the time, I would say like 75% of the time, we go to Trader Joe's. Mm-hmm. And we, like, depending on where we are, we go to different Trader Joe's. And today we were up at the Trader Joe's at Hillcrest, yeah? Mm-hmm. And you only get, like, a few things. So you're, like, waiting in the car. And, of course, like, I have to buy the entire store while I'm in there. So I come back. And not only do I scare you as I'm entering the car, but I'm like, I have an unpopular opinion about Trader Joe's. And my unpopular opinion is I fucking hate it. That's my opinion. I think it's, like, it's just chaos in there.
It is.
And, like, there's so many people. I was telling you, like, if it was the first Trader Joe's that opened, I would understand it being the size that it is. There are, like, how many Trader Joe's in the fucking world now? And they still make the aisles about as wide as this table.
Yeah.
That doesn't make...
It's like the width of a single cart
to
fit down.
Yeah. And then I was also saying how the workers there are, like, fake nice to you. And so, like, if you need something, they're always like, oh, yeah, like, of course, it's going to be over here. And, like, la, 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 la. And I'm just like, I don't like those kind of people to begin with. And then I also think, like, they turn around and then, like, it's stone cold face to everything else. Like, but if you turn around, it's like, yes, how can I help you today? Two, like, employees were talking to each other in the aisle that is small. And I was like, oh, excuse me, like, pardon me. And she moved... Not kidding, like a centimeter closer to her friend or her employee. Mm-hmm. And so I, like, knocked her with my car. I didn't mean to, but she was in the fucking way. And she, like, kind of gave me a dirty look. And I'm like, well, move. Like I said, excuse me. That shit pisses me off. Like, don't give me a dirty look if I went out of my way to say, like, pardon me.
Yeah.
I'm coming through.
Yeah.
They need horns on those carts, too, now that I think about it. But it's like, to me... All of Trader Joe's is exactly the definition of the United States because everybody is fake nice and everybody's just in it, like, for themselves. They think you're there and it's, like, all culty and friendly and, like, oh, we are inviting you into our family. But then it's, like, all hell breaks loose and everybody's got to grab everything and you got to, like... try to, like, everybody's going in every direction and you're trying to, like, go with the flow of the crowd and people are bumping carts and everything's all over the place and it's fucking chaos. And I hate it. However, I'll continue to shop there because I like this stuff.
However, they have great products, and especially when you're a single adult, this is what I was saying, is the portion sizes are just optimal because sometimes, like, I love Costco. But
it's just huge.
It's too much, which I know Costco is an extreme example, but even other grocery stores, usually, it's, like, too much, the serving sizes. And they have great, like, lunch, like, single-pack lunches or dinners or something when you just, like, can't be bothered.
Yeah. Or stuff that, like, because it really bothers me when I have to throw away a lot of food. But if it goes bad or if I'm not going to eat it, it's just, like, too much sometimes. Yeah. But I like... Trader Joe's because they give you options of, like, single packets. Like, those single packet guacamole things are, like, the bomb.
They're the best.
Yeah.
I think Trader Joe's is optimal for snacks and, like, freezer meals.
I do, now that I think about it, though, it's probably my bad for shopping on a Sunday, like, afternoon.
It is. But even then, like, I think just the way the Trader Joe's are built in California is, like, not proportionate to the people of California.
I know. They make it extra. They do it on purpose. They, as in, like, the big they. They do it on purpose. It really irritates me. And then that guy standing outside, like, are you a voter of California? And I'm like, oh, I don't want to be bothered right now. Like, I don't want to be. He's like, it's only a signature as I'm, like, walking by. And it, like, that kind of stuff, which we'll jump into in a minute, just, like, gets me so angry. I just want to be like, shut the fuck up. I don't want to talk to you. Yeah. You are seeing that I am avoiding eye contact, I am looking everywhere but you, don't come up to me. Don't talk to me.
Yeah, I think grocery shopping on a Sunday is the worst possible time to grocery shop.
I know.
But if you ever go to Carson City, Nevada, Trader Joe's, the Trader Joe's there is big.
Yeah, it's the
aisles are wide.
Yeah.
Where the produce is, like,
it's free,
great.
flowing.
I love it.
Yeah.
So it's very clean and nice there, and it's a pleasant shopping experience. So we've been spoiled because that was my Trader Joe's experience before I moved here.
Yeah. I've actually never really shopped at Trader Joe's until living with you.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I, didn't do it. My aunt, when I used to live in the Bay Area, they buy Trader Joe's all the time because there was one up the street, and I just,
never
refused.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did read something, I don't know how accurate this is, but about how, a lot of almost everything from Trader Joe's has palm oil in it, and, palm oil with, the Brazilian forests and everything, jungle forests? I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's, kind of, why I never shopped, and also because I, when I'm, meal prepping, in my mind, if I'm so used to, Safeway or Vons or whatever is around here, it's, that's what I'm looking for, and Trader Joe's has their own thing, so you kind of have to, shift. It's going to a grocery outlet. They have good stuff, but they only have, specific stuff to that store. Mm-hmm. So you just have to, shift, which is, such an inconvenience for me. It's I hate it.
No, I don't think Trader Joe's is optimal for meal prepping, which is what you do.
Yeah.
The reason I shop at Trader Joe's is because I hate cooking.
Yeah.
So it's great for me. But if I'm going to, make a nice meal and I want, good produce, I'll go to Sprouts.
Yeah.
Or if I'm going to, I don't know, buy pasta and, things, I would go to, a Vons or a Ralph's or something.
Yeah. That's true.
It's a grocery store tangent.
Yeah, we needed to get it out. I just had to because I couldn't.
Yeah, I think
it's so frustrating.
I'm curious if other people, because I know people in our friend group are obsessed with Trader Joe's.
Yeah,
and I get it. They have some good products.
They probably go at a decent time though.
Yeah,
or friends with the workers too. So they go in and it's an experience. Where it's for me, I am not. It's not that I'm not friendly.
There are times though when it's I'm just trying to do my thing.
Yeah.
I'm not. This is my time.
Yeah.
Me time. This is me time, and I want to be in my little world and shop. And yeah, when they're making comments about oh my gosh, have you tried this before? This food is when they're checking you out. Sometimes I'm just we don't need to talk.
Yeah. We don't. We don't.
It's okay.
Just hey, how are you? Good. Have a good day.
Yeah.
You too. That's all I need.
Thanks for checking me out.
For checking me out. Swiping that barcode, man. Thank you. Anyway, what are we talking about today?
Well, I know it's really hard to believe, but we're actually not perfect. I mean, I won't speak for Allie. I am not a perfect person. And so we're just going to put ourselves on blast and reveal our toxic traits. And I think that I've come a long way, but I also haven't been in a relationship for over a year, which I think can sometimes really shine a mirror on you in terms of what you need to work on.
Yeah.
Because when it's when you're by yourself or when you're taking care of yourself, when you're an independent single person, I think sometimes those traits aren't as glaringly obvious because you're not trying to necessarily coexist
with another person. Yeah.
And I will say, moving in with you did shine a light on some of my traits where I'm shoot. Which is it's good. It's giving me things to work on. But I think in a intimate partnership is even more wow. And sometimes we think back on our exes and it's all of the problems were because of them.
Not me.
Not me.
I'm perfect.
And I don't know why they didn't just do what I wanted and handle things how I wanted, and we would have been fine. But when we were prepping for this episode, I was at first I was I really honestly can't think of that much.
I know. I was I don't know if this is even going to be a good episode. I'm I can't think of anything. I can't think of a scenario. nothing's coming to me.
And then when I sat down and like took the time, it just snowballed. I was like, that's not good.
Probably write that one down. Oh, that one should be written down. Ooh, yep, that one. I'm like, fuck.
And we did ask on social media what people's toxic traits were, and I think we got like 3 responses. Yeah. And like 2 of them were a joke. So I think a lot of people feel the same way. I think, one, it's hard to like think about what is, I don't want to say wrong with you, but like what you can work on. Like, you really actually need to take a second to think about that.
Yeah.
And I think it's also like not an easy thing to admit. Like, your ego is definitely in the way when you're like, I'm not the issue.
Yeah. I think too, like, it's like deep. Mm-hmm. What am I trying to say? Like, I am like, it's like exposing parts of me that I don't want everybody to see.
Yeah.
So I'm sharing it with you guys.
So we're putting it on the internet.
Yeah. No, but I think like maybe that's why like people didn't want to respond. It's because, yeah, it's not something you want to think about. It's hard for me too because it's like situational. Like when I think of toxic traits, I do think of like relationships, and when I think about things, it's like everything has a side and a story and an explanation, and so it's hard to be like communication or like this is my toxic trait. I think everything has like a story, and I think it's, yeah, like people just don't want to talk about it, so we're talking about it.
So do we want to go through like alternating our lists?
Yeah, because I'm sure I'm gonna have more is gonna come up. I am sure about that.
Cool. Okay, I can start.
Okay, perfect.
So I think I'll just start with a toxic trait of mine is avoiding conflict. And within that, not speaking up when something's like bothering me. Let's give some examples.
Okay.
Conflict avoidance. So let's just say, for example, like I'm in a relationship, and this kind of ties into cleanliness, which is another thing of mine. I'm going to say both of them. Cleanliness in the sense of like, I feel like when I know what my messes are, they're okay. Mm-hmm. Like, it's okay for me to have a mess because I know that I'm going to clean it up. But if you have a mess, you need to clean it up right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I don't know when you're going to clean it up, and it's bothering me.
Yep.
So you should clean it up.
Yes.
So I think the conflict avoidance thing is like, okay, for example, not that this has ever happened before, just like a random thought that I had. You know, when you have clothes that you've worn, but they're not dirty. Like maybe, like I wore the shirt. I wore the shirt. I wore the shirt yesterday for like a few hours.
Yeah.
I wasn't like running around. I was literally just sitting, and I didn't stink, and I'm wearing it again.
Yeah.
Because it's not dirty. There's no need to wash it.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily want to like hang it back up because
with
it's
like
not
the extra clean clothes.
Yeah. It's not that it's never been worn. So you start an in-between pile on your bed.
Yeah.
And maybe I come over, and that's annoying to me because why do you have a pile of clothes on your bed when I'm coming over and you knew that I was coming over? And my like toxic trait of conflict avoidance would be like, that is bothering me. I want to say something, but I'm not going to say something because I don't want to start a fight over some like, that's petty, that's silly, I shouldn't be bothered by it. But then the next time I come over and it's there again, because I let it fester from the first time and I didn't like talk about it at all. Now I'm being really overdramatic about your clothes on your bed because I avoided saying anything the first few times.
Gotcha.
This is like a really like, it is a petty example, but that is like those two traits together, my like cleanliness standards that I'm holding you to and my conflict avoidance, not wanting to like have an argument, can make things a little difficult.
I can see that within myself too sometimes. It's always so hard to navigate because I totally see like your side of like not wanting to start an argument, because sometimes it can start an argument if you like say something depending on like your type of relationship, and you're like in your mind thinking like, I'm not going to start this argument over the in-between clothes being on the bed. I'm just not going to do it. But I see that. Great.
Or I'll make a like sarcastic comment. Oh, you couldn't put these away again?
And how I see it is like, Exactly. Or like you come back the next time and it's there again and you don't really say anything, but you kind of like you're in like you just feel like a mood. You feel a tension, whatever like time goes on, but like it's there. The tension's there. They feel it. You feel it. The next time it happens again, now you're like irritated and then you like want to go out and you're like, no. They're like, well, do you want to stay here? You're like, no, because you start to make these like little mean comments and then the next time it like blows up and then it's like, all because of like something that was nothing.
Yeah. So I like to think that should that happen again in the future, I wouldn't probably not say anything the first time because it's really not annoying.
Yeah.
Like, why am I getting annoyed? I leave clothes on my bed. I think it's more of like because I'm coming over, so like, why didn't you clean up?
Yeah.
You know, type of thing.
I feel like everything is like deeper than what it really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot
more of like
on.
Yeah, exactly, of like
the thought process of like I'm
get
coming
excited.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you like want to put any effort in because I'm coming over? You know.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's like clean up and make a space and be like, hey, look what I did because I knew you were here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I made space for you.
Yeah.
So it's not my fault again.
Boom. Next.
Still perfect.
My turn.
All right, your turn. What's one of
We're
yours?
just jumping right in. My first one, and I think it's like my main one that I have both in any type of relationship that I have, whether it's like a friendship, intimate relationship, is I'm very reactive, and then my reaction is anger. And it's like I let it, my facial expressions are no secret. Like it's very clear what I'm feeling when I walk into a room. And if something has happened, it's like any situation I feel really, but it's just like if I am, you know, for whatever reason, a situation, like I am like so quick to react. Like I want to react. And like with anger, there has been so many times where like I say this like phrase a lot where I just see red, where I'm just like, I have no control and I am gonna get angry and I don't have any other like outlet right now. So like, I'm gonna get angry. And yeah, it's super toxic.
Do you know, like, are there specific things that like trigger that, or is it more of just like, if it's an inconvenience or like something, then it's gonna make you angry?
That's the thing is it's just kind of situational. I would say like outside of my mood, not anything like external. So like let's say everything is fine, but it's something that like we've worked on or we're starting to get in an argument, or you know something is like upset me based on like what they've done, what I've done. A lot of the times it's like the most recent I think is like I was having an argument with a family member, and their reaction when I was like talking to them about something was not what I expected. And instead of just like communicating or, you know, all of the better things I could have done, I was just like so reactive to be like, what the fuck? Like I just got angry and then just like it was just like overpowering me. That like I just feel like anger. I get so upset.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why people don't listen to me.
So again, not our fault.
Not my fault.
Sorry.
If we continue the conversation, if I have like a better example of that, because now that I'm thinking, I'm like, damn, that's not really like just made me sound like really crazy, which maybe I am, but I'll try to like think of an example.
I mean,
for the reactive.
It doesn't always have to make sense either.
Yeah.
Like the one I gave is like, as I'm saying it, I'm like, I know how stupid this sounds.
Yeah.
But like, that is an example that stands out in my mind.
Yeah.
Because it's like, this is stupid. This is toxic.
Yeah.
Okay. My next one is toxic positivity. And this has been one that I've really had to keep in check with you. Because I think that for myself, I can very much... I can hold myself to very high standards and be very hard on myself when I feel anything, but, like, I can do it, I'm okay, blah, blah, blah. Like, anything positive. If I start to think differently, I'm like, shut up, you're fine, blah, 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 blah. And I don't think that's very healthy because it's another avoidant thing of, like, avoiding hard emotions or, like, avoiding, I don't know, anything that's not positive.
Yeah.
And I think you've said it to me, or maybe you were doing it in a roundabout way of like, when you're venting, just listening instead of being like, here's my 17 solutions for your problem. Have you tried them? And I don't mean it in a way, it's not coming from a place of like, I don't want to listen to you. Right. I don't want you to tell me things. Right. It's more of like, oh, you're opening up, so you must want to hear what I have to say. You know, which isn't, like, I know that I just want people to listen to me sometimes. That's why I go to therapy. I just sometimes want her to listen to me, you know? Yeah. And I don't always want, like, a solution. Or sometimes I know what the solution is, and I don't want you to tell it to me. Yeah. Like, I just want to vent. And so I think that's been a big one for me to work on this year with living with you, is, like, just listening and just being like, yeah, that sucks. That's shitty. And that's the end of the conversation.
I think it's been so interesting because we're at like very ends of the spectrum, whereas like you're trying so hard to like stay in this like positive mindset. I feel very much like stuck in the negative. Like I can only really see like the bad aspects of everything. And so, and a lot of times, like, it's hard for me because when someone, and it's not just you that does this, like, there's a lot of people that do this when I'm, like, talking to them about stuff, is a lot of the time it's, like, when I'm presented with, like, an option to, like, make the situation less sucky for whatever it is that's going on, it sometimes is, like, did I not do enough? Or, like, are you saying I didn't do, like, are you saying that because I haven't done it and I should have, and that's why I'm like, I put myself in this situation. Like, I already know that I put myself in this situation. Like, I don't need you to remind me by giving these things. And sometimes like it's hard because I'm like, I know that's not where you're coming from. Or when other people are giving me like advice and stuff, sometimes it's like the only logical thing to do is like when you hear someone that you love in pain or in like a frustrated state of mind, like you want to help them, and helping them is like, okay, how can I pull you out of this like really mentally bad place that you're in? That's another thing of mine, is just like being able to like, okay, there are options. Like sometimes I guess maybe I should write that fucking thing down too. It's like the opposite is like I only see like the bad or the negative, and I sometimes feel like not comfortable, but almost comfortable feeling so like miserable. When someone tries to pull me out, I'm automatically like, stop, no, like don't give me advice. Like I want to feel shitty, which like people are like, why? That doesn't make any sense. Like it doesn't even make any sense to me either. But that's where I've been, is like when people are giving me, you know, saying like, oh yeah, that sucks, have you tried this? Like not being so reactive and being like, like fuck off. Like I don't want to try that. Just like realizing like, not that I put myself in this situation, but like I am not wanting to be upset, but I'm not doing anything about it. So if I really want to change how I feel, like maybe I should take people's advice in order to help, because like I don't know everything, and I do need help, and I just need to listen. So it's just like, it's been very interesting to see like the two sides of the spectrum come together. It's been great.
It's good. It's good. We're like
working well. But that wasn't what I was going to say. My second one was, I want to talk it out sometimes. Like, I want to fix it right then and there. Like, I want to, like, I want to stay up. I want to talk about it. We need to hash everything out. We need to lay it all on the table, because, like, it gives me so much anxiety when things aren't dealt with. Like, the OB farmers market.
I was gonna
like,
say,
I want to deal, like,
that's the prime example.
It was like, I want to deal with it right now. Like, I want to, anytime that is like
you should give context on that.
Okay.
This is Ellie and I's opposites at a prime this
example.
Is the only time I can think of that where it's like really been a conflict. Not even a conflict, but like,
well, that was an eye-opener for me, because I was like, people have boundaries and I need to respect them. Like, that was what it was for me in that moment. And it took me not talking about it to deal with it. But for context, we had made plans to go to the OB farmers market, and Wednesdays are like the hardest day for me. That's why I wanted to do our podcast on a Wednesday, because I don't know if people, it's like the middle of the week. It's very difficult. You still have like 2 days left. Very draining day. At my job right now, it's our like minimum day. So instead of having like only 4 hours of kids, I have like 6.5. So it's a very long day. And something had happened with my job, external factors, and I really, really let it get to me, to the point where it was on my face. It was like flowing through my body. I was like very clear that I was upset. And parking stresses me out. I hate parking, which is wild to me because I used to drive a truck, and like I was more comfortable in the truck than I am in my Jeep, which is crazy. But like the Jeep and I love her. Anyway, and finding parking in OB is already like a stressful event. So I had picked you up. It was cold. It was dark. It was in the middle of winter, and I'm driving around trying to find a parking spot. So not only am I like feeling all of my feelings from the day, work, and all of these things, and that's like already in the car when I pick you up. Now I'm trying to find fucking parking, and I am like livid, and I'm reactive. So my driving is like gas, brake, stop, brake, all of these things, like just so like too much. It was too much in the car. It was too much. It was too much feelings in that car. And when we had parked, we were like walking over, and of course I'm like huffing and puffing and like, oh my God, but my life is miserable. And you're like, dude, I'm going home. I'm not dealing with it. Bye. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, don't leave me. And you were like, no, I'm leaving. Bye. You turned around and walked away. In that moment, like, if that was my previous relationship, it would have been a scene, because I'm like, there's that toxic reactive, and then there's the like, I want to talk about it, and then me wanting to be like, I'm always in a bad mood, like, you should know that blah blah blah, like, how do you not know kind of feeling, to the point where it's like I would have like, which is why it's like so helpful to have you, because it stops me from doing these reactive things. But I was like, I need to walk after her. We need to stop and we need to talk about it, because I'm not gonna, it needs to be dealt with right this second. Which like it didn't. It was better that it didn't. But like the drive home, it was like an anxiety attack to the max, because I was just like, I know I was in the wrong, which already brings me more anxiety, because I'm like, I have to prove why I was acting like a fucking psychopath and prove that I'm not a psychopath. And like, it's hard too. Like I said before, people don't want to have their shitty side of them like broadcasted, and it was broadcasted because of my actions, and I didn't like it, and I felt like I had to like not only defend myself, but like let you know like I'm sorry without actually saying I'm sorry, you know what I mean? And yeah, I just like, that is like where my toxicity was like at the height, because I was like reactive, angry, and like I just wanted to sit down and talk about it.
Do you want to hear my perspective on that night?
Yes.
We've actually never talked about this.
I know, so I love this. This is wild. You guys are getting it firsthand. Which I think in retrospect is better. Because it helps me deal with that stuff. I don't know if it was for you or not, but I was like, I would not have learned if we did it my way, because how was that helpful? And that also was like a huge moment for me, like afterwards, to get so upset, is like realizing like I was almost jealous of you, because how many times in my life have I been with people who are like energy sucking the entire day, night away, and I felt like I had no boundaries and I couldn't leave. Like I didn't know what I was like. My energy was being drained, and I kind of knew where it was coming from, but not really. But I never walked away, and so seeing you walk away, I was almost like, wait, you could do that? You're allowed to walk away and have boundaries? That's wild. Okay, but what is your perspective of that night? Oh, sorry.
I think, okay, a few things. I hadn't ever really done that before. So I think it was also a realization for me of like, nice. I can walk away. Not that I was like wanting to walk away from you, but that was one thing. And also the wanting to talk it out right now. My first relationship that I was ever in, my partner was very much that way. Like anytime there was any type of conflict, he wanted to talk about it. And I knew that my like reaction and my thoughts and what I was going to say isn't necessarily genuinely like what I
Real.
thought or felt. It was more of like the heat of the moment. My emotions are high. I'm feeling upset, so I'm going to say dumb things. And so I always wanted to like wait. Mm-hmm. And usually, and that's kind of goes into my like conflict avoidant is like, if something's bothering me, I'll be like, okay, I'm just going to sleep on it. Mm-hmm. And usually I'll sleep on it and then I'm like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Yeah. But sometimes that will build up. Anyway, we're talking about this night. So I had time to debrief from my day. Mm-hmm. And I think that I projected that onto you of like I had gone to yoga. I had a beach walk. Like I was so zen'd out, like in the literal polar opposite of where your emotions were. Mm-hmm. And so I think when I got in the car and it was glaringly obvious that we were in different states, mm-hmm. I like shrunk away and didn't necessarily like think about, well, I've had like 3 hours by myself that you haven't had. You just came from work. You mm-hmm. just came from whatever was happening. Yeah. And like right to here, and parking is stressful. So it's like I wasn't having empathy for where you were at. I think I was more of just like, whoa,
this is a lot.
I was feeling really good. And now I'm like, I needed my space. Yeah. Instead of like, and I don't remember exactly what I was saying to you, but I remember being like, how was your day? Blah, blah, blah. Like, happy cheerleader.
Which, I don't know if y'all met me, but I was like, it was, again, everything is miserable. My life sucks. Like, mm-hmm. that's where I was at.
Mm-hmm. And I think I definitely could have, like, I think I wanted to get away from that feeling so bad or so, like, right then that I just, like, ran away. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, if anyone's watched The Queer Ultimatum, so good.
So good.
But I was kind of like, who's the person?
Who was that?
Who just, like, ran away from everything. Anytime something was, like, a difficult conversation, they just, Aussie.
Oh, yeah. The Australian.
Aussie the Australian.
Aussie the Aussie. That's right.
That's kind of what I was channeling. Yeah. And then when I got home, and I like, silent car ride, like, just was like, I need to breathe. And then I saw your text, and then it felt like I didn't know how to, like, talk about it.
Yeah.
You had texted
that's
me.
Right. Yes, I did text you because that's my, like, wanting to deal with it. And I, like, explain where I was coming from. I forget exactly what I said, but it was like I had sent, like, a paragraph of, like,
you're like, come back.
We should deal with this. We had this plan. I'm sorry that this happened. I was just in a mood. Like, we should deal with it. Blah, blah, blah. Something like that.
Yeah. Anyway, it's worked itself out, but I think it's just
it was
a lesson.
Looking back, it was exactly what we needed because mm-hmm. I feel like you and I don't really like argue. We're very much like in the moment. If there's an issue, it's like talked about because we don't let it build. And mm-hmm. I think that's so like beautiful about friendships versus like in an intimate relationship is you have that more comfort of like, no, this is me. Like mm-hmm. This is how I'm showing up. Like, let's not like avoid it at all. Mm-hmm. And I think in that moment was just like a lot happening, but I think it needed to happen. And from there, like, I learned a lot.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Learned a lot about you as well, of like your boundaries too. I think it was great. It was great learning.
Yeah, it was good. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. I talked about clean freak. I said taking things personally / thinking it's about me. And what I mean by that is like, when someone's upset or having a hard day or doesn't want to talk or blah, 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 whatever it is, I, like, assume that it's about me.
Me too.
Which is, like, very self-centered and, like, why is it about me? Why is their world doesn't revolve around me? Mm-hmm. Like, why am I assuming that? Because then I think it takes away, like, my ability to empathize again or to be like there for someone because I'm so in my head about like me. Right. I'm thinking about me instead of this person who is upset or like I don't know, and sometimes like justifying like why I can act the way that I did or like why I am the way that I am and it's fine, and it's like why am I again assuming that this whole issue that's at hand is rooted because of me? And also like, I can't control how other people feel or think or react. So why am I putting so much energy into what are they thinking or feeling or reacting about me, you know?
Yeah, no, that's on my list. And going off of that, I think why, which is my next one, is because I'm constantly looking for reassurance. So when someone's in a mood and they're not giving that to me, I'm like, oh my God, it's something I did. Like, I need to fix it. What's wrong? Why me? Like, what did I do to you? And so not only now is that person in a mood trying to deal with whatever it is they're doing, now they're in charge of making me feel better?
Yeah.
Like,
okay,
how does
that's
that even make any
sense? Yeah.
Like,
but
it's
now
like,
you need to comfort me and make sure that, like, I'm okay.
Exactly. Because you're having a hard day. Like, that's crazy. And I think, like, or, you know, whatever it is. And I think that is in itself, like, for me at least, like, that constant looking for, like, reassurance and making sure, like, almost feeling like so insecure about myself that I can't just be like comfortable with 100% who I am, that I need to like find it all from like other people. Like, I need them to tell me how good I look because I am incapable of saying it to myself. I think in itself is like, when you have that kind of like thought process as I do, can come out as like a toxic trait in any type of relationship, in a friendship and in a relationship with somebody. And then especially with the I have that too, like taking things personally in any situation, like even if it was like kind of like what you first were talking about, but like the in-between clothes, like I would take that personally, where it's like, that pile had nothing to do with me.
No.
Literally nothing.
No.
But I am gonna take it as you hate me.
Like, you don't care that I came over. You don't even want me here. Like, I'm just another person in your life. Psycho.
Yeah.
Which I know, like, I don't want to play into the women are crazy thing. I think women just allow themselves to, like, lean into their emotions and feelings more than, like, play them out more. So I think that everyone has these traits. I think we're just really vocalizing them right now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Just put it on blast.
What's your next one?
That's mine. The like feeling very insecure and the reassurance.
Okay. Going off of that, I had projecting past insecurities, which goes hand in hand with jealousy. Like, this is specific to my last relationship. I think in my first relationship, I think there was not a lot of trust. I think it was very immature, like the way we handled things and like behaved with each other, and just like, oh, who was in the group? Like, who all were you with? What did you guys talk about? Like, that to me is like, okay, are we 16?
Yeah.
Like,
in itself, something deeper is going on. Yeah. Lack of trust for sure.
And so I think I brought some of that, even though I felt like I was trying not to, when he had a lot of female friendships, and like genuinely I met them. Like, I met his friends, I hung out with them. It was never like I never felt like he was trying to hide something. And like, it was more of my insecurity of like, well, this has happened to me before, so now I'm like jealous when you hang out with them, or like, now I'm the one that's like, well, why are you over there? Who else is there? Blah, blah, blah. And I don't like being like that.
Yeah.
So I think that was like a toxic thing that rather than working through it and like really being like, what is this about? Actually, I just leaned into being insecure and jealous.
Perfect. Balanced out nicely.
I like to think that I wouldn't be that way. Just because of the queer ultimatum, Mal.
Oh, yeah.
When her partner was like wanting to go talk to the person that they had like a trial marriage together with, if I was in that situation, genuinely, I think that I would be like, why do you want to go talk to them? Like, we're together now. I don't understand. But when she asked her, like, is this some, like, I don't remember exactly what she said, but it like hit me, because it was like, is this something, like, is this really actually about trust or something? However she said it was really like eloquent, and it was like, yes, I want you to trust me that I can go over there and talk to them and everything's going to be fine. And she was just very vulnerable with like, okay, this like definitely makes me feel insecure, but I trust you, and so you do what you need to do type of thing. And even just having that, like, simple conversation so you can be vulnerable and, like, you're not going to be perfect and your insecurities aren't going to go away.
Yeah.
But letting someone know where you're at so they can also be, like, respectful and, like, aware of how you're feeling instead of blasting, like, I'm insecure, I don't, you know.
Well, I think that's one of the more common ones, and I think a lot of relationships maybe feel that way on both ends. And I think that one, I didn't do, like, any research on this, and I'm not a scientist, so I don't know, but I think that one in particular, that toxic trait, has a lot to do with how you grew up and your family trauma and what your family's been through. Because as much as I've had, like, decent relationships and, like, friendships still, and, like, I just get jealous and insecure, and, like, it all works itself up. The insecurity, the needing reassurance, the taking everything personally is, like, they didn't want to hang out because they don't like me. They didn't respond to my message in time, so they don't like me. They didn't ask me to go hang out because they don't like me. It, like, all jumbles up where it's, like, that necessarily, like, it just needs to be, like, worked on and talked about, and I think a lot of people feel that way. So difficult, and it can, like, be really toxic because I think, like, for me, like, that thought doesn't go away, but I feel like now, especially with friendships, is I, like, check myself, and I'm like, you are so dramatic right now, stop. I do think, like, because of past, like, traumas, sometimes I have, like, this, like, feeling in my gut, and then they're doing something and it's like, I don't want to be insecure and I don't want to, like, not trust you, but, like, something is in my mind, like, in my belly, and I just, like, I'm not feeling it. And so, like, working through that too, but I'm like, yeah, I can switch to toxic really quickly.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of communication and, like, being honest with where you're at.
Yeah.
Because then, yeah, if they're, like, still acting weird or whatever, if you're interpreting their behavior as weird and then you tell them, like, this is how I'm feeling, like, I trust you, just want you to know where I'm at, and then they're still being weird, then it's like, okay, maybe there's some validity to
That's what I'm saying.
That.
It's like, you know, it is a toxic trait, but I also am, like, a firm believer for, like, I would say a firm believer of, like, if you feel something's not right, it's not right. Maybe they're not doing that, whatever it is you think they are, but they're not trust, like, hanging out, whatever the situation. Like, to me, my mind automatically goes to cheating. Maybe they're not doing that, like, physically, maybe it's emotionally, maybe neither, but I think that feeling is saying something about your relationship. And if, like, you don't have that good feeling, that's, like, literally your gut. So if your gut is unhealthy with the person that you're with, that in itself should tell you something, which...
My toxic trait is not listening to my gut.
That's it. My next one is... I tell my family everything. Everything. I will tell... There will be one person in my family that knows what's going on. I maybe don't, like, confine in, like, everything to my mom or to my sister, but someone is gonna know, and they're gonna be in my family. And that has been a problem.
Yeah?
I think just, like... I get it. People don't want their shit blasted, especially to, like, the family. I think family has, like, such a, you know, you're like, you want to, same on my end. If it was flipped, I'd be like, what the fuck? Yeah. I can't help it. I just have to. Like, the connection I have with my family, like, we're far from perfect, and they get under my skin all the fucking time, but, like, the connection I have with my family is, like, out of this world, like, especially with my siblings, which we've talked about before. And so... they probably already know something's going on, even if I don't tell them. And, like, you hear me talk to my sisters, we're persistent as fuck. It's like, no, tell me. Nope, you're gonna tell me. No, don't go around it. Something's wrong. Tell me right now. Yeah. And, like, even I'm that way to them. And it's like, I trust my family. I love my family. I feel like they have my back. They've always had my back, regardless of, like, whatever shit we're going on. Like, yes, we argue. They have always, always, always been there for me, like, moving around, dealing with shit. Like, we've just created our own little group, and have stayed that way for years. For years. I mean, now, like, we do, it's just amazing. So I just feel like those people are like like Sex and the City said. I don't know if you've ever watched Sex and the City, but like the four of them, I forget who said it, but they were like, why don't we be each other's soulmates? And men are just these fun little toys we play with. And I feel like my family is my soulmate. So why am I going to let this external person who, yes, I may love and maybe want to like share a family with someday, influence now my relationship that I've had with these people literally since I was born, since they were born, since half of their life? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. I can see how that may be toxic and how that's like something to work through, and that's like not a dig at like any past relationships, because it can like cause a problem, especially if like you're dealing with stuff.
You're saying like you would talk to your family instead of your partner about things,
or just like anything that gone on. If we got into an argument, my first call is to my family. Well, what did he do? He did this, and this. You think I'm gonna tell him what I did? No way. I mean, I do, but it's like they're gonna have my back. They're gonna see my side, as like their family is gonna see their side. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, just like telling them everything.
There's an analogy that I would love to have my therapist on the podcast, but there's an analogy.
Sure there's a... You can't do that.
When I was dating, and we were trying to like, I was trying to work through things and like figure things out. She gave this analogy that I'm about to butcher, but it was basically like when you choose someone, when you're in a partnership, something about like building a house, and like the walls aren't built of doors that you get to like decide like and open, and like on your side of the house you open the door to whoever you want, and on their side they open it to whoever you want. It's like you have windows and you let people see what you want, like what is appropriate for them to see type of thing, and the door is something that's shared in between the both of you, like that. There's one door and you guys both share that door.
Oh shit.
And like, okay. I'm not trying to put you on blast at all. It was just like something that really like stuck with me, because I think too sometimes in my own family dynamic, it's like there are things that I've been told that I never wanted to hear ever. I never wanted to know it. I wish you never said it to me. Not because I don't want you to trust me or open up to me, but like
that door didn't need to be open.
Yeah. That was something that you keep in your house, and you share that with someone that's not me, you know, type of thing. So I think it's more of just like, it's harder when it's just you, but when you're in a relationship, like if you guys are committed to each other and trying to make something work, like really being selective. And not that you shouldn't tell your family things, but I think it's more of like that communication between the two of you needs to be really good. Yeah.
I think there were a lot of other things like going on.
Yeah.
But I do think like it is something that I have to like work on, and even still like within my family is like setting those boundaries, because we do tell each other some like everything, and I think when they come to me with certain things I'm like, ooh, what? Because I'm gonna give them advice or talk about it with another family member, and it's just like it's kind of a toxic behavior we all have, but yeah, that's me, guys. That's
Okay, I'm going to just say my last one, or I have more, but
okay.
I feel like then we can go to situations. People pleasing and my phone. And the people pleasing piece is like more for, I think it's not just in relationships, but all around. Like, I want everyone to be happy. And so I will not have boundaries or not stand up for myself or be like, it's okay until I have zero battery or zero energy or I'm just so drained. And like, I think about this at my last job is like, I tried to cultivate this like very safe umbrella for everyone that worked like under me, because I saw and was dealing with all of the like toxic leadership and stuff happening, and I didn't want them to have to experience any of it. And so I would overfunction. That's the word. I overfunction. Not even like people pleasing. I think I overfunction for people and don't even allow them the opportunity to learn how to like deal with something, because I just do it for them. Yeah. And they don't even know what they don't know, because I'm not even going to let them know that they don't know it. Like, I'll just do it for you. You don't even have to stress. And I don't think that allows anyone to grow. And I know for a fact I did that. I overfunctioned in my last relationship. Like, just thinking about the cleanliness thing again, like redoing their whole room, buying all of this stuff to organize, redecorating, getting them all. And it's like, okay, yes, that was really nice. But it was like I created this whole system for them of like how they could organize their life. And it's like that probably would have been a good thing for them to figure out on their own.
Yeah.
Like learn how to do like a normal adult does when they take care of themselves.
Yeah. But sometimes it's just like...
You don't know if they'll get there.
No. And like, men's lives would just be so much better if they listened. Like, but also like, that's not true. And I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we love about them.
Mm-hmm. And I said my phone just because I think even when I'm like, the other night I was visiting with my friend and I like had to check my phone. Mm-hmm. Like even though we're in a conversation, and not that I was like on my phone the whole time, but it was like I had to check it to be like, did anyone text me? Like, oh, did anyone respond to this thing I posted? Oh, and it's like, why?
Yeah.
It's just like out of habit. And I think it's like, I don't think I'm the only one that struggles with this. It's a very like addictive thing, but it is, I think, a toxic trait because then it really like, it hindered the conversation because maybe they would have opened up if I wouldn't have opened my phone. Like maybe the conversation probably could only have gone so far because I wasn't fully present for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Thing.
I think the phone is like my opposite. Like a phone is very triggering for me. Yeah.
Anyway, what are your last ones?
I have comparing, sticking with something just in hopes that it'll change. Even, again, with that like gut feeling. Like even if I know it's not for me, it's not good, I will like stick with it. I'll be like, no, it's fine.
Like
it'll
make
work.
yourself
It'll work.
miserable.
It'll work. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Again, like just like
I know I do that too.
Yeah. And then my last one was sometimes I find myself like living in the past or reliving the past. And that can be a toxic thing in any sort of relationship. So I don't really have like an example for that. And it's not like my most common one, but it's like come up a few times where if things are bad, I'm like, well, things are bad because we made this decision back then. And if we did it differently, it would have been this. And like, I told you so type things, like just living in the past where it's like, no, it's not good. Don't do that. So those are mine.
So basically, we have a few things we could work on.
Maybe, just a few. Now that they're like written down and fucking recorded.
I know. Honestly, I hope I can listen back to this episode in like a year and be like, that's not an issue anymore.
Yeah.
Not that I think everything's going to go away. And I do think in talking about some of these, I'm like, I don't actually know if this is still a trait. I just know that in my last relationship, this was how I acted.
No, it'll be really awesome to hopefully be in like a healthy relationship in the future and listen back to that and be like, that's why. Like this one thing, it doesn't necessarily like make all of these traits of mine disappear. I mean, like you said, there's plenty of other things that I can be working on, but I know that a lot of it had to do with like unhealthy relationships.
Which is why we're going to talk about situations and how our toxic selves would handle them.
I love that. That was great. You go first.
First situation or kind of just topic that I thought of and when my toxic traits would flare is boredom. Specifically, like, if I come over expecting you to, like, entertain me, have a plan. What are we going to do? I'm bored. Just like...
I'm envisioning that situation as like they're dressed up
like a jester. Yes. I'm the queen
around as you're like sitting down. Entertain me. Oh my god. With like one of those like stick, like they were using last night, that like stick horse that you just like, oh my gosh, sorry.
The way I said that was weird. I would never say that. But I think I would like go over there and
with wanting a plan.
With wanting, like, I hadn't put anything together. It was more of like, I'm coming to you, so you have to do everything. And than when they wouldn't have a plan or not have something that's like I necessarily wanted to do. Maybe they wanted to stay in and I'm like, no, I want to go out. Where should we go? What should we do? Blah, blah, blah. It's like toxic Erica would either, one, conflict avoid and just do what they had said. So let's say they're like, I just want to watch a movie and I really want to go out. But rather than saying anything, I'm just going to not say that and be resentful and be like irritated the next day as I'm driving home that like we didn't go out and do anything and what a waste of time. Not a waste of time, but like spiral. Other would be making snarky comments or being like, really? I came all the way here and that's what we're going to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think what I probably should have or should do is like sometimes like I can do what I want to do and if they want to come along, that's great. Or if not, whatever. Like, yes, I want to do things together, but I don't always need them to like make the plan. And sometimes it's okay to be like, well, actually, I think I want to go do this and this will be fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are you, how do you handle
that? I totally agree. I think being in a relationship in itself is like already difficult. When you add things that make like factors such as like living in the middle of nowhere and like there's nowhere to talk to, or if you give yourself no escapes, and I know that sounds bad, but like even like not having a car, not, you know, having friends, like not having like a support system, hence me wanting to talk to my family all the time, it makes things like even more difficult because you need that space apart and like you need the ability to just be like, yeah, like I'm just gonna go do this. Like this is something that I really want to do. I'm gonna make time for it. I would love for you to join. And sometimes like they will, or then like they don't, and you recognize like, okay, this wasn't for them or whatever. But I found myself doing that all the time because I wanted to do all of these things and see all of these things that were on my list. I had the time to do that. I had the money to do that. I just didn't have like the resources because my resource didn't want to do it. And there was never like a plan or like it just keeping things like interesting, you know, and like fun. There was like not a lack of that because I associate that with like doing things because I don't want to be bored. But it also sucks when like I'm not making the plan. Like, I guess I should, but it's just difficult. I have a scenario for you.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So I'm pausing really long just in case I want to cut this out, because I like there's no really like way to say this. So I'm like just gonna tell you like as if you're, you know, Erica.
Okay.
Not like podcast Erica.
Okay.
But we, you know, in a relationship with someone or like at the start of the relationship, and for me, like being placed in like very adult situations where a decision needs to be made because you're thinking about your future. Like I had just graduated from college and I'm thinking about like what it is. Like I like scheduling. I like having like things mapped out. I like having a plan. And as much as I like may really like love or like someone or want them in my life, if like we're not making like active progress to make these things, it feels very like stagnant to me and is like, what a waste of time. Like I have things that I would like to do. And like, I'm not going to get more emotionally invested if there's not going to be a future, because then I will hang on and just for the ride and go until like, boom, years have passed and I feel almost like time has been like wasted. And so there was a situation where I was just recently like, I would say like 5-6 months into a relationship, very fun, very like not really spending like a lot of time with each other, but the time that we did spend was very like special and like pretty good communication, like wanting to do things, promising all of these things. And when the situation came down to like making decisions and making decisions quickly, there was a lot of like, well, I don't know. And I, in the moment, gave an ultimatum. And the ultimatum was, if we cannot find a way to, I had said live together, but it's like situational. I like in this situation, it was more like be together, like in the same fucking country, in the same area by in another 6 months, then I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth, like, the money we're spending to talk, the time, the energy, with the time difference. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. That ultimatum was a key factor in a lot of arguments and was never let go.
Interesting.
To me, I don't think I did anything wrong. And I still, to this day, don't think I did anything wrong.
Thing. I don't think that's wrong. I think that's like you have to... That is almost like the opposite of your toxic trait of, like, sticking with something too long.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if at 6 months you guys can't, like, make that decision, then what's going to happen in 2 years when you are still, like, if you're still that uncertain, that far down, then you, not that you wasted 2 years.
Yeah.
But, like,
I think
you gotta put your foot down.
I think this is the moment that I realized sticking with something is my toxic trait, because in that moment, because it, like, caused a problem, like, literally, I told it to him. Okay, I guess I should give a little bit more of a backstory, but, like, right after my graduation, he was flying back to England, and we were talking about this, like, at the airport as he was, like, doing, like, his baggage, and we were, like, I was just like...
So not the best timing.
So yeah, sorry, I should have said that. Oh my God. But, like, so very insensitive of me to be saying that, and I also think, like, I also didn't, like, it is not, like, I'm not an evil person. I did not realize, like, the effect it would have. Like, I really thought this person was, like, a realist too. Like, I didn't realize that would have had like, such a negative effect, and, like, be held on to for such a long time.
That's a toxic trait.
What?
Them holding on to that for so long.
Oh my God, for years.
And, like, over your head.
All the time. It was, like, it was a really big deal. It, like, it was a huge deal. And, like, I was like, did I do something wrong? Like, to me, I was just like, I was just having boundaries in itself. And, like, we can cut this out too, but, like, that made the whole, like, okay, we got to go to Australia right away. And, like, in my mind, I think it was, like, because I had said that, it was, like, a full shift instead of, like, let's just massage this out. Let's just, like, see what it looks like. And then, like, coming out, like, okay, I have a like, a solution. This is the solution. Let's do it right now. I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it right now. And then we left, and that was my decision, even though I was like, I didn't even have time to process. They didn't have time to process what that meant. Like, what I said made them feel so icky and it wasn't making me feel anything because I didn't think I did anything wrong, then that in itself should have been, it, like, snowballed. And so that's where I think I realized, like, oh, that, like, hold on when something, like, isn't right. Not that anything was right. It was just... it snowballed a lot from, like, one thing. Yeah. Which was, again, like, my toxic traits mixed in with their toxic traits. But, like, that was,
toxic
remedy. Yeah, that's, like, a scenario that has been, like, replayed a lot. So, I thought I would,
Well, I don't think you were toxic. I mean, sure, maybe the timing was poor, but I think it sounds like the way that it was handled and, like, held over your head, that to me is toxic. It's like, once you make a decision, one, you can't put the blame on the other person, and two, like, let it go.
Yeah.
Like, you made the decision.
Yeah.
That's, like, I don't think that helps with your, like, living in the past thinking either.
Yeah.
If they're constantly, like, well, you made me do this, and it's like, okay, so now you're thinking, like, well, if we would have done something else, if I would have said something, like...
Exactly. There's no one to blame but yourself, and of course, in my mind, I'm like, you're right. It's me.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one, and it is cooking. So... Cooking.
I love it already.
When you're in a relationship, you're spending a lot of time together. You can't eat out for every single meal. So you're bound to be cooking at your respective homes, at your shared home, wherever it is. In my first relationship, avoided cooking at all costs. And luckily, the 2 people I've dated in my life have said that they've enjoyed cooking. So I've really leaned into that. And been like, oh, you enjoy it? Okay, you do it every time. I'll come in and offer help when you're just about finished. Oh, you don't need any help?
When you're plating it, you're like, oh, I can do that part. I'll serve myself. Thanks.
I can get out the forks. So, a little toxic in that sense because I'm like fully aware that they don't need my help as the thing is cooking. But then that was a comment that was made to me when we broke up, was like, in so many words, was like, I didn't appreciate that you never cooked. Mm-hmm. Which I was like, ugh, but also I get. Like, I never tried.
No.
I never made an effort. So then in my most recent relationship, I got meals that came with all the ingredients and the instructions, and I can make them. But then I was like, now we have to do it together because it's like a date night.
I love women.
And you're better at chopping those vegetables, so I'll open the packages.
You're like a sugar mama. You bought it. They do it.
But it's like, come on. If I have a hobby or say that I enjoy something, and then that person, like, not that I forced them. I don't think that I forced them, but I definitely was like, do you want to make this? Do you want to do this? And if someone did that to me, I feel like it'd be like, okay, well, now I don't enjoy it anymore.
Yeah.
As much because
it's like a chore now.
All the time.
Yeah. The way that you eat, what you eat, how you cook, like your meal and your food, your relationship with food is something that should be compatible with like your person. I think it's like as important as communication to me, because like it can be very stressful. I think it ties in like the money aspect. I think if like you are compatible with like the way you eat and how you eat, there will be less arguments. And for example, say your partner, let's just say your partner does not eat any fruit. No fruit. It's not fucking lying, dude. Not lying. Google told me. No fruit.
Okay.
And lots of sweets. Like lots of sweets. And like sodas and things like that. And then you're like, okay, like we can make it work. And then on like a weekend where like it's a fun time to either like go out or do like things together, like the cooking, like I don't even know, like pancakes or a fun breakfast or like something fun, something different, because you have the time to wake up to like 2 chocolate bars done. I guess it's not a lie.
Okay.
2 chocolate bars gone. Like a bag of like, I don't know, let's just say Swedish fish gone.
I don't know.
And like a Coke gone. Like
I can just feel my teeth just like
rotting away,
falling out of my mouth.
On top of like smoking cigarettes and stuff. Yeah, it sounds great. Like I am frustrated now. And then now a trait of mine that's coming up is I need to control you. Because I'm looking at you because I love you and you're gonna die tomorrow. Like, literally. You will not last the night. Like, your arteries are clogging as we speak. Your heart is about to give out. I am like, eat fruit. I like got to the point where I was like, try this strawberry. No, like I don't like it. No, yes you do. Fucking eat it. I don't like strawberry. It like spiraled to the point of like when we got in arguments and I called out all of the things, you know, that were wrong with them. The thing that kept being wrong with me is like, you're fucking controlling of what I eat. And like, that is toxic. That is so toxic of me to do, and it's fucked up because it's like, again, like eating, the way that you have a relationship with food and fueling yourself like is a main source of like anxiety to some people. And like I don't think that was with him, but it's like no one likes, I would not want someone telling me what to fuck to eat. Like, are you kidding me? I don't know if that made sense. What to fuck to eat.
You're very passionate. No, I agree. I'm lucky in the sense that my relationships, both of them, have been with people who are like very open, one, to being vegan, and also like has a goal of like eating healthy. And I feel like we were able to like lean into each other as like sticking to that healthier eating. Yeah. So that's a very good point.
Yeah.
And the controlling piece?
It's like, yeah, I was. Yeah. I was being toxic. I was controlling. I was saying things like, things that are unacceptable. You shouldn't eat that. Don't eat that. Or to the point of like, are you really going to eat that? Like, I grew up with my family, a family member of mine saying that to me on top of like having body issues, on top of like literally breaking my body twice a day to like, are you really going to eat? It's unhealthy and it's very sick and it's like very toxic of me. However, like it's situational.
Yeah.
And I would like to think and I would really hope that I am not like that to like other people in my family that I love and in my next relationship.
Yeah. Speaking of controlling, spending habits.
Ooh.
Money is obviously like a big thing.
It's like really big.
Money is like really important or something. And I think this is just something the way my brain works, the way I am, I need to work on it. I am fully aware. Like the cleaning thing, like the cleanliness of like, I can have my messes, but you have your messes and that's annoying. It's like, I can spend money on dumb things, but you spend money on dumb things and
that's great. That's
we have to talk about it. Like, what are you doing? Are you kidding me?
Yep.
You're door dashing food? Really? Like, not that I would say it that way. I was not a total bitch, but like just that judgmental thinking in my mind when it's like, I spend money on stupid stuff all the time. All the time. So why am I like, it's that song that's like the Brent Faiyaz song that's like, you didn't fall in love with me, you fell in love with the man that I could be or something. And it's like, I hold them to this like standard in my mind because it's like, you are such an amazing person. I fell in love with you because of how incredible you are and like all these amazing traits about you. And I see like you can even be more like amazing. Not that they're not like great as they are, but it's almost like I just want you the best possible. Like I genuinely think it comes from like I love you so much. Like I want you to be so happy and to like thrive. I don't know why I'm like about to cry, but it's true. Like a genuine feeling. And so it's like, I'm like holding them to this standard of perfection that they're never going to achieve.
Yeah.
And then I'm like disappointed or upset or like probably they're disappointed and upset because they're not meeting that standard.
Yeah.
That I know I can't meet. So it's like giving up on me, but for you.
But you put it in like, oh God, this is the difference between you and me. God, I'm such a bitch. But like you said it in like such a more beautiful way. But to me, it's like when I'm like with someone, especially for some like a long time, I like start to see myself in them because like we're morphing into one person, which necessarily like that in itself isn't the best. But like we are sharing this space, this family, this togetherness. Like I want us to be like a partnership. I think that's like one thing that I've learned too is like how to be like separate from that, which is another conversation. But so when I see them again, like I can see the best that you can be. And then I see it's almost like my toxicness and like my insecurities are now like on display because their traits are my traits and my traits are their traits in this sense. So I'm like, I'm shopping and then I see them shopping and I'm like, ugh. And my anger is just because I'm like, damn, if we literally, it is. And if we both just stopped or had a conversation, like we could grow. And if I just like explained even to myself, it's like it's coming from a good place, like you said, like if you just do it my way, see how better you'll be, that kind of mentality.
Yeah.
Especially with like when it comes to money stuff, it's like can take a bad turn. But like for me, it's just like I see myself in their choices and I'm getting upset only because like I don't like that trait in myself and it pisses me off, so I'm gonna take it out on you.
Yeah. Oops.
For me, it was like, I think it would be more like, going out to eat. I don't think like the shopping piece. Like I've ever been frustrated. I love when people shop. Even for them, I'm like, ooh, new things. What did you get?
Yeah, it's not like clothes. Like I'm like, fun.
Yeah.
You look hot.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
It's more of like other, like DoorDash is the one that comes to mind because it's like, and I've done this a few times, but it's very hard for me to Uber Eats or DoorDash something because I'm like, this is insane.
Yeah.
I'm getting a $10 burrito and I'm paying $40.
Yeah.
I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
I do it, but it's like, I'm like at a very low or like I'm sick or whatever.
Yeah.
So
like seeing another person do it, you're just like,
I'm like, really? Let's just get in the car and go get it.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that.
Yep.
This is going to paint me in a really bad light. But I'm going to say, actually, no, this didn't even happen. This is just
is fake and we Googled it.
A fake example of like something maybe that would trigger a toxic thing. Is you're hanging out with friend group. They're your partner's friends. You're at a house party, whatever. Maybe you're not like vibing with one of the girls. And they keep making comments about your partner and you're taking it personally and making it like your partner's fault that they're saying those things in your mind. Mm-hmm. For example, hey, can you put on this song? I know it's his favorite song. Oh, yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Like, okay, to clarify, the friend is coming up to you and saying that.
And rather than me, like, okay, one, why, like, being introspective and, like, why is this bothering me? And then two, instead of, like, realizing it's a conversation, or not even a conversation, but, like, this is happening between the two of us, he's not even nearby or involved in this at all. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to take it out on him and act like, why would she say that? Yeah. What, like, where did that come from? And being like, this is why I don't like that you have so many female friends. Blah, 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 spiral.
But I would go fucking crazy.
On
them.
The partner?
Yeah. And on her, too, to be honest. I'd be pissed. Mm-hmm. I would be mad.
Yeah.
I would be toxic. It would be a toxic conversation. And, like, yeah, I know that's not good, but, like, oh, God, sometimes that.
But over the course of the night, so what I had written down is, like, attention-seeking behavior. Because it's like, okay, I'm feeling insecure. Because, like, this is someone who I feel like probably spends more time with my boyfriend than I get to. Because I don't live in the same area. So I'm, like, feeling very insecure about that. And then of, like, I don't know, being appreciative for the time that I have with my partner, I'm going to be like, okay, we're playing, what is that game? The King's Cup.
Yeah.
And, like, Never Have I Ever, or, like, the truth things. And I'm going to say the most out-of-pocket, like, extreme examples I can think of that's probably not appropriate for this group.
Oh, my gosh,
like,
love it.
I could tell that he was, like, uncomfortable because it's, like, I'm his girlfriend, and clearly, like, this is an example of, like, not something we've done together. So he's, like, I can tell he's uncomfortable. Now I'm, like, getting attention from everyone because they're like, what? Did you know this? Blah, 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 blah. And it's, like, instead of this, like, one minor comment that was, like, annoying, now I've made it into this whole thing.
For me, yes. Also, like, the way that I saw it at first was, this girl's toxic. Mm-hmm. This girl wants you and has no chill. And also sometimes, like, which is weird. I don't know why. Again, probably some family history going on there. But, like, I don't trust people. Because to me, it seems like... Remember when I said I was talking, like, nice about men? Scratch that for a second. Men can be very, like, oblivious. Mm-hmm. And just, like... Women are smart, women are cunning, women know what they want, and they will go after it. Mm-hmm. So I see a girl like that, and I automatically am threatened because I'm like, whoo, what? Like, you are trying to you're doing every little thing to make a comment to try to, like, place your power over me, even though, like, you know there are boundaries set in here. Like, you're risking your own neck because of what? Because you think they'll defend you, like you have a one-up, and I don't like that. Mm-hmm. So why do you have a one-up? And then that gets me thinking, and then I'm like, okay, like reevaluate the situation. Like, no, okay, I trust him, whatever. But now I'm mad at him because I'm like, why do you have her in your friend group? Because I'm feeling some type of way about it. Therefore, you guys can't be friends. When it's like, in their mind, it's like, so now you're telling me who I can't be friends with. But in my mind, I'm like, she's nasty. Will ruin your life. Like, if you love, which is, again, that, if you love, oh, God, so horrible. But I'm like, if you love me, don't do it. Like, you don't see how this is bad? That's where I'd be coming from.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is kind of what it got to. And I think about that situation a lot because it's like, it snowballed way bigger
than what's needed.
And I also hate that I allowed that person to have so much, like, hold on me. I'm like, okay, bitch. Like, whatever. That's how I wish I would have handled it.
Again, with, like, the insecurity. Just, like, knowing, like, I am secure in what I have. Yeah. And, like, let's exude that.
Yeah. When, this is a conflict avoidant example again. These are most of my examples. But, like, when your partner is just wanting to have sex and you're not wanting to have sex, but they're, like, kind of, like, not forcing it, obviously, but, like, really, like, hey, and then you just give in, but then you're, like, resentful towards them because you did it, and, like, annoyed, and maybe, like, rude to them after. Not that I've done any of that, but, like, you know, not using your words.
Mine is the opposite. I feel like I'm the opposite situation. So I see the other side of that. Which is like, God, I just wanted to fuck. Like, Jesus Christ.
Do you think that you, like, had toxic behavior about it? Or it was just, like...
I mean, I don't know. To them, maybe. To me, again, it was, like, the situation. Is like, if you zoned into, like, maybe one instance, no, I don't know, actually. Because it was just, like, I would just get frustrated. The no. And, like, I don't know, I guess it's a little different in, like, a straight relationship. Like, guy wanting to have sex versus, like, a girl wanting to have sex, I guess. I don't really know. But, like, situational, and, like, it was literally never happening, like, ever. And so I think, like, that was just, like, frustrating. And then that reaction is, like, sometimes I would just, like, test. Every night I'd be like, you want to? No? Boom. Done. Pissed. Because I fucking knew it. And I'm like, why am I doing that? That in itself was probably, like, the most toxic thing that I did, is, like, just, like, using it as, like, a game almost. But yeah, I see. That's...
I think communication's a big one. I think a lot of these, like, as we're talking about them, would highly recommend actually doing this activity. Because I'm like, okay, these are things that, like, sure, maybe I haven't been, like, triggered in this way.
Yeah.
To, like, have these things flare up. But I know, thinking about them, that I probably would still behave the same way. So maybe I should, like, work on that. So that when I do get into a situation again, I don't have this happen again.
I think a big thing, too, is just, like, if anything, I'm grateful for it because, like, I've learned a lot. I was put in these situations to hopefully help me become, like, the best partner or, like, even better of a partner to whoever comes along next, if they ever come along. No, I'm just kidding. But also, like, realizing, like, yeah, if I could just communicate off the bat, just, like, saying, like, what my triggers are. Obviously, like, not on the fucking first date, but if I'm just, like, having, like, a conversation and open to have a conversation of, like, why it might make me feel that way, I should be, like, open to that. And going back to, like, my toxic trait is, like, if they can't understand where I'm coming from, or it's going to be, like, a harder conversation, let me have those hard conversations at the beginning so I don't waste my time and I'm not holding on to something that's just not going to work because we're not a good fit. Yeah. It's, like, literally trying to take, like, trying to make a puzzle piece that's, like, almost fits and, like, looks like it can go in that spot, but, like, clearly doesn't, but you're just, like, wanting to make it bend so bad. I'm like, no, it doesn't go there. It's not a good fit. Yeah. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So your toxic traits make you better. Right? That's what I'm trying to say.
I think
in a circle roundabout swirly way.
Yeah. When you've seen your toxic traits come up, I think it allows you to be like, whoa, there's something going on here. that I should probably look into and work on.
Like she said.
And with that, enjoy your Wednesday.
It's kind of heavy. I love it. Yeah, have a good Wednesday, guys. Make sure to follow us, subscribe, please. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Go to therapy.
Yay!
Bye.
Bye.